Hello everyone, thanks for coming tonight. The Vibe team, loved your presentation. My name is Yui, and this is our team with Maria and Jess, and this is our project Simplicity. Simplicity is an inventory system designed for small to medium businesses. Leveraging my experience with large retailers, we focus on making inventory management simpler and more accessible. Simplicity combines practical insights with streamlined functionality to help small business manage their inventory. Let's dive into our solution and how we tailored it.
Thank you for being here. Let's meet the Simplicity team! Woo! The first member is me, myself, and I, Maria Esmeralda. I did the web front end, and I'm your friendly neighborhood developer. And my belief is, with tech, I really want it to be less intimidating for people. So that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to be in tech. And the reason why I wanted to do Simplicity was, I have a brother. My brother loves to eat my snacks. And those snacks are very expensive sometimes. So I was like, let us make an inventory management system so I can give him a bill at the end of the month. Now, for our next amazing member, Jessica Mo.
Hey everyone, welcome to our demo day. I'm Jess. As you can see, with over 10 years accounting experience and a very strong analytical mindset, I'm very passionate to build an inventory management system to enhance the operational efficiency for small business. So let's welcome our third member, you already know, Yui.
Thank you, Jess. As for me, my name's Yui, and I worked 10 years at Coles in inventory management, 2 years at Woolworths again, inventory management, and Australia Post for 5 years. And this is our project. The benefits of Simplicity, we just wanted to focus on ease of use, and we wanted to keep it cheap and simple. One thing we noticed is that new businesses, retailers, you just started 3D printing some stuff and you want to sell it online. To get the access to an inventory system, it's quite a big overhead cost, so we saved on that. And you're flexible. You can either deploy locally in a little Raspberry Pi or right up in the cloud of AWS.
So we have created 2 front ends. For web front end, we do all of the fantastic stuff. So we are creating your product, we are viewing your product, we are searching your product, we are updating product, and we delete product. For mobile, we have 3 main features. So you can search product, view product, and update quantity. And we have a nifty little button here, which will show you where you can scan.
So before we actually show you how our system works, let's have a look what we use to build our Simplicity. From the mobile platform, we actually choose to focus on Android instead of iOS. So this decision is aligning with the cost effectiveness and flexible integration needs for small businesses. Kotlin is our programming language, and we choose Jetpack Compose to accelerate our UI development process. There are another 2 features I would like to touch. For the scanner code, we implement the MVVM architecture in order to provide a clear separation of concerns. So the retrofit is also implemented to simplify the process of making API calls asynchronously and handle responses in a non-blocking manner.
So for front of web development, we have chosen React. We feel like Lego, React is very good for you. And it is a fun thing to learn. Hard, but fun. And we have the framework MUI. The reason why I chose it is pretty buttons means pretty products. But we have a lot of customizable things in MUI, and it's one of the biggest libraries that works well with React. And we have Axios. Think of Axios as the waiter that is very efficient. So you have your back-end, front-end. Axios basically takes your order, brings it back, gives it to you. So that made things very easy for us to integrate, and it went quite smoothly. So that's how we did that.
For the backend, we're running Node.js and for the web serving, and Express for the routing, and MongoDB for the database. And then after doing the development for 2 days, and for the architecture and data flow, the web client, the front end, gets served by the React.js front end client inside our Docker environment. So it does not directly talk to the API, only React goes to talk to the API, which gets routed through Nginx. And the mobile client accesses from outside, hits a Cloudflare DNS resolver, which sends the request to our reverse proxy, Nginx, which sends it towards Node.js, which is our API server. And here's our live demo.
So let's establish a context. Let's imagine we are in a very busy shop and there is one customer approaching. Hi, sir. How can I help you?
Hi, my daughter really wants to Pikachu. She's been yelling outside for the last 10 minutes, but I can't find it anywhere. Could you please tell me where it is?
Actually, I'm not really sure. Today is my first day working the store, but let me search for you. You can see that with the little help of the manual search of the mobile, we can easily find that whether we carry certain product in stock. And one more tap, you can see the quantity, the price, and the location. Yes, sir, we actually sell Pikachu plush. You can find the Pikachu plush in toys aisles over there.
All right, awesome. I'll take one.
Let me process the Pikachu for you. Now we're going to move on to the feature of scanner function of mobile. With a little helper, we can actually bring up the product in our system with no time. And when you hear the lovely beep, that means the barcode has been successfully read. So because we're selling Pikachu, the quantity should be reduced from 16 to 15. Let me update the quantity. The update has been successfully done. Cool, sir. This is yours.
Thank you, you're a lifesaver.
So that's pretty much the live demo for mobile. So our business owner, Maria, gonna take you through what's the website and then how website and mobile interact with each other.
Hello, I am the business owner, and I would like to know if I'm rich today. So we are gonna have a look at our web front end, and I'm gonna walk you through the features. We have 3 main buttons. I will be showing you create item later. So we're gonna have a look at our adjustments. So in our adjustments page, this pretty much shows all of the quantities that we have changed for all of our products. And we have a time and date stamp. And we also have an indicator on who changed it. So for web, obviously the desktop, and for Android, for using the phone. As you can see here, she just changed it, and you have seen that there is the time, the date, and who changed it. Another easy way to look for this, so you're gonna have this neat little search component where you search for it, and then we click on the little button. You can see all the product information, and then you can also see all the changes you've done for that product. So as you can see, it's all been changed by Android. Great. Seems like I'm making a lot of money. Another way to do that is we'll go to our item library. Item library, we have the images of the product, UPC, and we have this neat little arrow to check. This is for low to high, high to low, and then we also have the same search component. So I'm just gonna have a look for Pikachu. We have this neat little product page, and then the same page will go through. I am all about diversity. So we've had a lot of customers saying that we really needed a Bulbasaur. So the next thing I'm gonna show you is how we create the product. So I'm putting the information inside. I'm putting it in the correct category. I'm uploading a photo. And basically, the blue thing only lights up when you finish everything. And it should be saying now. So imagine I had a very good night and I had a little bit of funny drinks. And I was like, oh, it'd be really funny to change the quantity and ruin my own business. So I've made that mistake. And as you can see, we are checking the quantity. We shouldn't have 100 Bulbasaur plush. So I'm gonna have a look and check this timestamp. As you can see, in the same date, I have changed the quantity 3 times under a minute, and that is not correct. So now, I am going to pass it over to my trusty employee, Jess, to correct it.
Not a problem. Let's have a look how many Bulbasaur we have in stock. So now we're going to perform a stock count. Again, I'm going to quickly bring up Bulbasaur in our system since it has already been created in the system. Obviously, it doesn't look right. Maria must have a very busy day yesterday. So let me correct the quantity of the product from 101 to 10. It's been done. So this is pretty much the end of our live demo of the product. Thank you very much. Now we're approaching to the end of our project. When we're looking back, we surprisingly noticed that our roles actually well extend beyond just pure software development. You can see at the brainstorm and project analysis phase, we're actually researchers. And then once we pick our project ideas, we transitioned into a role of product manager. So at that phase, we're actually deciding the MVP features that are essential for efficient inventory management for both mobile and web. And after that, once the MVP are set, we actually take a role of UI and UX designer. So at this phase, the funny thing is like we keep thinking about what's the text background contrast, what's the color coordination, and considering the factors like the call to action placements, the navigation between windows and pages in order to achieve the best user experience. So let's have a look. This is the snippets. Those are what they used to be, and this is how beautiful they look like at the moment. When we start developing our product, at this stage, we're actually architects and developers. We carefully design the structure of our products, and we concurrently work on web, mobile, backend, and database. So ensure to have a seamless integration over all the components. So as the development progressed, we actually become testers. We rigorously testing all the components to make sure they function flawlessly. Finally, when we reach deployment, at this stage, we actually become DevOps engineer. We are responsible for releasing the components like web, backend, and database, all these components into a live operational environment. But here is actually not the end of our journey because we actually going really well and we dedicate really well each other. We enjoy the time with each other. So we're going to still keep maintaining our products if we are not too busy in the future. Maria going to take you through how we collaborate with each other along the journey.
Stop, collaborate, and listen. Isis, rewind. No, I'm kidding. I wish I could rap, but I can't. All right. So let's have a look at our collaboration tools. This is a big part of our process because without these softwares, we would be pretty much lost. So for GitHub, we've used it to push our code, check our code, do pull requests. So think of it as like a big website where you can communicate, share your work, and basically pull things that don't work, put things that work. And it's really neat and nifty. For Swagger, think of it as a menu. We use Swagger for our API documentation. So basically, all of our API routes is in Swagger. It helps us really understand how it works, what type of data it spits out and accepts, and it really helped us develop asynchronously and save time. And we have our trusty friend Trello. Trello saved us because we did follow the agile method where you break big things down and make it to itty bitty little stuff. We call them deliverables. And those deliverables, we check up on each other and then make sure that development's going well. And also in Trello, we put in our agenda. So whenever we have meetings, we put in what are we going to talk about, what's our goal, what's going well, and what's not going well. And for Miro, think of it as like a huge whiteboard. And that's what we use to create our Moscow and put in our ideas. And we've put in all our research notes there, so it's easily shareable. And Framer and Figma are very similar tools to use. We've used Framer to create our prototype and wireframe, so the design for our nifty web front end. And for Figma, it's also a tool to create and design our mobile front end. I will hand it off to Yue.
So just like Maria said before, this is Swagger. Adrian put us onto it. And our API is built on OpenAPI 3.0 standard from Swagger. And it's a key tool for us to develop asynchronously. Because as you can see, we have 2 front ends and a back end and deployment. And for 3 people, it's a big job. So using Swagger, it allows us to give a powerful interface that helps us define, visualize, and interact with our API endpoints. Front-end developers could mock up interfaces with the API structure, while back-end developers focus on logic and database maintenance. Basically, it just helps us work asynchronously. She can pull it up out of our Swagger documentation, and she's all set. I don't have to go there and explain, and she doesn't have to come ask. Our documentation is set there already, and whatever route she needs, she can pull it up.
This is actually a very long journey. One of the biggest challenges I faced is actually set up the environment to test my application. Because in our project, we have both web, we're going to test it, and we also have a native mobile application to test it. So at the very initial stage, I don't have an Android device. So I kind of like very heavily rely on the emulator of Android Studio to test my scanner code. So the funny thing is I have to use the emulator to scan the barcode visually. It's pretty awkward. So as the development progressed, there are a few API routes, database are established, and then we have to switch into environment of localhost. So at that stage, I actually come across a lot of challenges because in order to test its localhost, I need to either pair my Android device or pair with Wi-Fi or use a cord to connect to the Android Studio, but actually cause a lot of troubles. After that, things become easy a little bit. I just need to change the IP address and then call the API via Wi-Fi. So actually during this switching environment journey, most of the time when Emma testing failed, I found myself like, where the issue stems from? Is that from my code or from the environment? So at this time, I very heavily to rely on log, getting to log to see where the issues is coming from. So of course, I rely a lot on like ChatGPT, Google, and also reaching out for help from my project mentor rather than to really struggle for the whole day on one issue. You will have a different journey to share with you.
So this might be quite embarrassing for me as someone who gave a talk once at Holberton about Wi-Fi vulnerabilities and security. Yes, we did get hacked. Specifically, our DB got hacked. And the reason that would be is because I was quite lazy with securing it with any sort of credentials, because my philosophy is get it up and running first and we'll sort all of that stuff out later. But you have to actually do that stuff later. Apart from that, they did demand 0.0046 Bitcoin to a Russian email address. We decided just to redo our data. And it took me 6 hours to lock down the database, and then it's been fine ever since. But it did cause some very funny things, because I would go to Jess, where's all the data gone? And then she goes, I don't know. Oh, must have done something. Another security thing that I discovered later on is that credentials and accidentally uploading them to GitHub. So as Maria explained before, GitHub is our public repository that hosts all our code. And you do forget that keyword there, public. Yes, I accidentally loaded my Cloudflare API token, and then I was like, realized quite quickly. But it's just one of those things. After that, you could become really aware to like lock everything down. And I'll hand it off to Maria.
So my journey was a lot of communication. I tend to forget, because I am quite new to Australia, that Australia has different cultures and backgrounds. And sometimes, as I said, tech jargon can be quite intimidating. And sometimes, if English is not your first language, it can be quite confusing. And also due to our differences in commitments, because both of our lovely members have children, I've learned that communication is definitely key. Sometimes you have to remind yourself that maybe you or your teammate may not understand a certain thing, and that's all right. And finding ways to teach one another and communicate and be understanding and be empathetic from the position they're in is very important. I'd like to touch on. And as I said, as you go into the tech industry, you'll meet lovely people from all over the world. And the best thing to do is be empathetic, communicate, and understand. So that is my journey. We have our learnings. So these are the quotes that kind of stuck with us along the way. So this is from the muscle, Yui Santos. I remember we were working late nights and I was like, Yui, I'm so tired, but I want to do my best. And he told me, sometimes we have to walk away and come back, else our sanity and hair can be very much be lost. And then for my quote, I meet a lot of people from different areas, so senior developers or even people who I used to live in the Middle East. So they learn a lot of machine learning and AI, and it can be quite difficult. And I had a conversation with her and she was telling me, Maria, I'm overwhelmed, I can't remember anything. And this is something I think all developers or everyone should really tell themselves when they're starting off and continuing on their journey. It's normal that you don't remember everything. You aren't a beep boop, aka a robot. But you can learn the art of finding stuff. And then, the original, our Swee, Adrian Yu! So I remember I would freak out and I'd be like, Adrian, it's not perfect. And then he would tell me, If it explodes, that's okay. We'll figure it out. So those are very comforting words to hear. And I feel like once you hear that and kind of understand, it won't be perfect. If it explodes, it's okay. We'll figure it out. And then for my darling Alicia, when I met her, we shared that it is a struggle. We're very grateful for Holberton. It is an intensive program, but it really does teach you to be kinder and more patient with yourself and to be more resilient. So I remember I told her, I feel like I forget everything. I feel like nothing is sticking in my coconut. And she told me, it can be learned. You just don't know it yet, and that's okay. So thank you for listening to our learnings. And I will hand it over to Jess to say her thank yous.
Now actually approaching to the end of our presentation, and a lot of things I want to share. So the first thing, of course, big thank you for my very talented teammates. Without your hard work, dedication, simplicity wouldn't be possible. And also a lot of thank you I want to give it to my family members, support, ideate, Holberton School, a lot of people, because at the age of 39 years old, we actually successfully switched my career from accounting into tech. Back in China, that's the age the developers thinking about to get retired. So thank you everyone. I feel really appreciated of your help. And also my mentor, Carol, who is always inspiring to me. And also my project mentor, Camilla, who is not here today, but it will be recorded. I will share with her.
I would also like to say thank you to everyone who's here. Of course, the lovely Simplicity team. Thank you to the other group as well for rooting for us. A big part of our journey, and for my journey, is I was a childcare teacher, and I came from a country where if you're a girl, you're not smart enough for computer science. So to Mr. Jones, who said this to me, I'm here, okay? I'm here, okay? Okay. But thank you so much for the previous cohorts, for everyone in the team, for Holberton, for the developers, for everyone who helped me and helped our team and just really told me, Maria, you can do it. Don't freak out, you can do it. It is not an easy job to reach out, especially when you feel like you should know everything, but just know you'll figure it out. And then I will pass it on to you to say his thank you.
I think you guys covered most of the thank yous. I'd just like to thank my family for putting up with this. And Adrian. Oh, I'm going to miss talking to Adrian every day. And thank you to Holberton for this experience.
Thanks so much.